Hi, this is Sue Jackson, the host of the Big Book Summer Challenge, along with my co-host Melinda at A Web of Stories. And I'm here today with a tag video. The Big Book Summer Challenge is still going on until September 1st, so you've still got lots of time to join. But today, my focus is on a tag video, the Clean Slate Tag. So this was created by a channel that's no longer active, but it was revived by Jess Bookgirl TV, and I was tagged by Kevin Toll Reads. So please check out their channels. I'll link them below. This is a fun one with a lot of different variety of questions. So prompt 1, are there any genres that you're going to read more of or less of in 2025? This probably, I was just tagged in May, but it probably started earlier than that. No, not really. Some of these I don't have very exciting answers to. I read a wide variety of genres and I like that variety. Everything from classics to thrillers to historical fiction, a lot of science fiction thrillers on the shelf behind me. Some nonfiction, including memoirs, my favorite kind of nonfiction. Just sort of realistic fiction. I read a wide variety of genres, and I like reading a wide variety of genres. And yeah, I have no plans to change that in any way, to emphasize certain genres more or less. Prompt 2, are there any books you have read recently that changed or challenged some of your own philosophies and beliefs? So I didn't think I had an answer to this, but when I rewatched Kevin's video, I realized he had a great angle on this. And that is books that have changed my thoughts on the kind of books I like to read. One of those is, sorry, Kevin, I'm copying, Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. The only Western I had ever read before this was True Grit, which is excellent. Much smaller book. Great sense of humor in that book. I really didn't think I was into Westerns, but I wanted to do something for June on the Range last summer. Everybody kept, and it works for Big Book Summer too, everybody kept saying how amazing this book was. So I was like, okay, it's Big Book Summer, it's June on the Range, I'll give it a try. Blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. So I would say my stereotype of Westerns was that there were kind of two-dimensional characters, very male-focused, lots of action, not a lot of character development, and this proved me wrong on every one of those points. Just such an outstanding book. Amazing character development. The female characters in this, and I just finished its sequel, Streets of Laredo, just as good, just as amazing. The female characters here play an even larger role. If anything, they're at the center of the story and the real heroes of the story. Yes, lots of action in these books, quite a bit of violence, which I don't really enjoy reading about, but the characters are so in-depth and their development is so intriguing. And McMurtry just writes such gripping stories that you just don't want to put it down. And he's got a sense of humor, which I always love. So Larry McMurtry has definitely changed my ideas of what a Western is and what a Western can be. I would also say I was kind of a latecomer to reading nonfiction, other than memoir. I've always liked memoir. But when I first read Erik Larson, and every Erik Larson book I've read since, I haven't actually read this one yet, but my husband says this is the best. Nonfiction November this year. I would have said that I don't like reading nonfiction history. that it's boring, that it's dry, that, no interest. And Eric Larson changed that because he writes so vividly. It's narrative nonfiction, which I've found I really do enjoy because it's written like a novel with the same kind of, it's compelling, it's propulsive, it's intriguing, it keeps your interest. And yeah, I mean, it's the truth is stranger than fiction thing. So Eric Larson definitely changed my mind on nonfiction history. And another writer who changed my mind completely on nonfiction is Laura Hillenbrand, Unbroken, and her first book, Seabiscuit. I feel a special affinity to Laura. She has the same immune disorder that I have. And when she wrote Seabiscuit, the only reason I really read it is because of this, because she shares my illness. She was extremely, seriously, severely ill when she wrote Seabiscuit. And she wrote much of this book lying on her back in bed with her eyes closed because her vertigo was so bad, with a pad of paper and a pencil. And when you know that about her, it's even more stunning how amazing her writing is. So take her name off it. I never would have read a book about a racehorse or about a prisoner of war during World War II in the case of Unbroken. But her research, she does so much research. And again, narrative nonfiction. She writes these stories so that they're so gripping and you care about the characters who were actually real people. And she is just so incredibly talented. Completely changed my mind on this kind of nonfiction, on topics that I would think I'm not interested in. Okay, prompt 3. Who would you recommend for a newbie to watch? I think they mean a newbie on Booktube. I just came up with a range of different channels that are all really excellent and that are all relatively new to Booktube, because I think a newbie can be put off by seeing a channel with 5,000 followers or 20,000 followers. These are all channels that started only between 1 and 2 years ago, but are really outstanding. I think I may be wrong on 1 or 2 of them, but they're all fairly recent booktubers that have great content, but all very different. So Daniela at Uncommon Reader. Daniela is actually in Italy, but her Booktube channel is in English. She has another one in Italian, and she's got a background in photography. So even if she's just sitting in her living room talking about books, her aesthetics are always really pleasing and pleasant. I love the way she talks about books. She's got a great passion for books, and really, really enjoy her channel. And sometimes she just did a travel video for a week in Paris, which was wonderful as well. Book Chat with Pat. Pat is a retired English teacher, so she brings a special perspective to Booktube. She is also I couldn't believe it when I found out how new she was to Booktube, because her channel grew so much. She had about the same number last year. She had about the same number of subscribers I did, and I started in 2021 and she had just started a year earlier. Just stunning growth because she's got great content. She is passionate about her books. She talks about books that she used to teach, books that she's currently reading. And she's also just got this very warm, pleasant style. It's relaxing to listen to Pat talk about books. Kevin Toll Reads, who tagged me for this video. Kevin is another relative newcomer to Booktube who's taken kind of a different approach. When he first joined Booktube, he was posting like 10 videos a week, which blew my mind. I can barely do 2. But it's all great content. Kevin is really interesting. All of these channels have a wide variety in their reading tastes, so you get all kinds of books. And I just really enjoy listening to Kevin's videos. He's very, he has some cool introductions and things like that. And sometimes he'll do some special effects. But most of his videos are just sitting and talking to the camera. I don't even think he does much editing, which also blows my mind. But they're great videos and really interesting. And I think that could help newbies see that you don't have to do anything spectacular to have a great channel. Not that your channel's not spectacular, Kevin. I didn't mean it that way. But just that, yeah, you don't need a lot of excess special effects and editing. You can just sit down and talk. And finally, Hannah at Savage Reads. Her channel to me is unique, and I don't know how long she's had her channel, but her channel to me is unique because many of us, myself included, are really wrapped up in all the Booktube and other reading challenges, readathons, book events. My own Big Book Summer Challenge is only one of the many reading events I participate in all year. And so my reading is often, and many other people on Booktube, is often dictated in part by these different themes or events that we're participating in. Hannah, I love this about her channel. She seems to choose her books one at a time in a very relaxed, stress-free style. And she takes a lot of recommendations from other booktubers. So it's really cool to hear her like a week later talk about a book that you or someone else recommended. And it's a different way to do a channel. Really interesting. Her reviews are great. I love to listen to her talk about books. Also reads a very wide variety. So those are just some examples that I think a newbie would really enjoy and get a lot out of. Prompt 4, do you have a book bucket list? No, I really don't. You can see my video on are TBRs fun or not for a more thorough explanation, but I've got like 1,000 books on my Excel spreadsheet of books I want to read. I have, I don't know how many, I will not count, books waiting to be read upstairs on my books waiting to be read shelf. It's a whole bookcase. Some of them on the right side are my husband's, but most of them are mine. And the third shelf now has double rows. Yeah, so I have so many books that I really, really want to read, and there's just never enough time. So I don't have a particular bucket list. It's all of those and whatever else comes up, as I'm going. That's the problem. That's why you can never catch up, because there are always new books or old books you'd never heard of. It's a never-ending challenge. Prompt 5, what about Booktube surprised you the most? I would say, well, first of all, how much time it takes me to edit videos. And I would have thought that would have gotten less over time, and it really hasn't. My videos require a lot of editing. I have some issues because of my chronic illness that create I have to drink a lot of water, and I don't think you need to watch many minutes of me just drinking water. Things like that. Sometimes, especially if I'm not feeling well, the cognitive dysfunction kicks in, and I'll just like stare blankly at the camera for 5 minutes trying to think of the very common word that I can't think of. So my videos require a lot of editing, and it still takes up a lot of time. But on a happier note, the other thing that surprised me about Booktube is just this fabulous community. Everyone on Booktube is so warm and so kind, and we all share this same passion. And it's interesting because a lot of places on social media, if you post personal things, you're going to get some nasty stuff back. And here on Booktube, I have never gotten a nasty comment. And I find that stunning because it is a social media. I've gotten a few comments that just clearly someone wasn't interested in my channel. I think I posted a video, a short from our last big road trip. It was our last night on the road. Just beautiful state park we were staying in. A 1-minute short. And talking about the park and our campsite. And it's actually one of my most viewed shorts. So, haha to this person. But somebody commented, big whoop. Okay, so this isn't your thing. So move on. But, generally, and that wasn't book related. That was travel and camping related. But generally, the community on Booktube is just amazing. Prompt 6, what are some of your goals? Doesn't have to be Booktube. So one of my goals for this year, which I am implementing, was to focus more on YouTube, not just Booktube, but my whole YouTube channel, because we are doing a lot more travel this year. We're getting older. My husband's 11 years older than I am. We just got this new camper last year, replaced our 27-year-old pop-up, which we actually still have. And we want to get a lot of use out of it while we're both in relatively good shape. We did have to cancel a trip last year because of me, but I'm trying to stay healthy for this upcoming trip we have. So yeah, so I thought video would be easier to do on the road. There have been some challenges to that I'll get to in a moment. But so generally, I pulled back a bit this year on my blogs and on writing in general. I really do want to do more travel writing. Freelance writing has become tricky because magazines keep disappearing. Online, people will write for free, or now they're using AI. Yeah, it's not good for freelance writers, which is what I've done for the last 23 years. So that's been tough. But like I said, this year I'm focusing more on video. So that's a big goal of mine. And in our personal life, the goal to travel more. We're taking a trip to Glacier National Park and Banff and Yoho National Parks in Canada. Big road trip with our camper, seeing places we've never seen before. We want to do more of that. Prompt 7, if you could meet, dead or alive, any writer, artist, or musician, who would they be? So I probably have to, this is so boring because I talk about her all the time, but come back to Barbara Kingsolver. I've got some of her books there. I love her writing, her nonfiction and her fiction. Would love to meet her in person. Prompt 8, would you rather have your life written by your favorite author or be portrayed in a movie by your favorite actor, actress? Oh, definitely written by my favorite author. Barbara Kingsolver could write my life story. It might be kind of boring, but she could make it interesting. Prompt 9, what are some of the challenges you have overcome or would still like to improve in regards to your channel? I think one of my biggest challenges that I think I've managed okay so far, my viewers have been kind anyway about it, is when I have a bad relapse of my chronic illness. And I can't do this. I can't sit up and talk for 20 minutes. Then, that's always, and I don't want to just disappear for weeks at a time or months at a time from YouTube. So that's always a challenge. One of my biggest challenges I have actually made progress on just in the last month, and that is I have been a just-in-time YouTuber. I record the video, edit the video, and post the video on the same day. And I'm still doing that for my Friday Reads videos, but my husband went away for a week and I used that time to start getting ahead. And now I have some videos, Booktube videos, scheduled out a month in advance. And that's so exciting to me to have that stuff already up and scheduled. And that goes back to the chronic illness problems too. If I can keep that up, of course, when we go away on our trip, I'll lose all that momentum. But if I can keep that up and have some things scheduled ahead of time, then when I do go through a bad period, that would make that easier. And the other challenge, and I don't know if there are any good answers for this, is simply managing a channel that has multiple subjects. I'm not just Booktube. I'm also travel and outdoors, a little bit of chronic illness. It's a mix of things. But when I first started my blogs, and I would probably do this the same way now, but I have one blog for chronic illness and one for books. I still have both of them. And while that was the right way to do it for the particular audiences, it was a lot of work. So when I started YouTube, I said, one channel, everything, one channel. But it is challenging because the algorithms themselves are based on trying to, put you into a slot and define you in certain categories. So always a challenge to find the right viewers for the different kinds of content that I have. And fortunately, there is some crossover. Plenty of readers also enjoy my nature videos. Plenty of those with chronic illness are also readers and like nature. So, there is some crossover, but it's a challenge that I continue to struggle with. Prompt 10, what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about deleting their YouTube channel? I think it depends on what the circumstances are. If, first I would say you don't have to, what I was saying earlier, your channel doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be edited. It doesn't have to, have special effects or anything. If it's the technical side and the time side that's dissuading someone, then I would say, give it up. Just, do very simple videos, talking to the camera, be yourself. I would definitely say be yourself to anyone on YouTube. Be authentic. I think that's really important. And yeah, if it's somebody who's considering leaving YouTube, who has good reasons for it, that's their choice. It's not for everyone. And finally, who do you tag? So I'm going to tag Ethan Pope. His is a new to me channel that I just discovered this morning because he's doing Big Book Summer. But Ethan is not only new to Big Book Summer, he is new to Booktube, and he's actually new to reading, like reading for fun. He said he really only started about a year ago. So just saw his channel this morning, really enjoyed it. He's just starting out. So I'm tagging him to kind of pull him into the YouTube community, the Booktube community in particular. He's out of Vancouver, and I really enjoyed his video. He did a great video that I watched this morning about Lonesome Dove, which was his first book read for Big Book Summer. And it's a combination reading vlog and review. It was excellent. I really enjoyed it. So check out his channel. And check out these channels too, Marlisha Muses and Talia Nerds Out. They are actually mother and daughter. Love both their channels. So check those out, but you don't need to be tagged. If this sounds like a fun tag to you, join in. The questions are all down below. And I would love to hear from you on that earlier question. What books changed your views or your philosophy, either in life or your views about books and the kinds of books you enjoy? Tell me about it in the comments below.